Welcome to my channel. 30 minutes ago. Jungkook cries loudly in Taehyung's arms after BTS reunion. What really happened? Before we dive into this powerful and heart-wrenching story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update about BTS, because behind the smiles, the music, and the fame are untold stories the world has only just begun to hear. 30 minutes ago, something happened that we all know ARMY expected. Jungkook, BTS's golden magne, broke down in tears, clinging tightly to Taehyung during an emotional reunion that has left fans around the world completely stunned. But what really happened behind those closed doors? Why did Jungkook cry so loudly in V's arms, and what does this moment reveal about the deeper emotional storms inside BTS? It wasn't just a reunion. It was something heavier. Something long overdue. Something boiling beneath the surface for months, if not years. The room was silent except for the faint sound of a door closing behind them. The 7 members hadn't stood like this together for what felt like an eternity. And yet, when their eyes met, time seemed to collapse. And that's when it happened. Jungkook's eyes welled up, his voice cracking as he stumbled toward Taehyung. And then, he broke. Not quietly. Not subtly. But loudly. Visibly. Uncontrollably. Those in the room said it was like watching years of suppressed emotion burst through in a single instant. The golden magne, always the strong one, the composed one, the ever-smiling youngest, fell into V's arms, sobbing like a child reunited with a part of himself he thought he'd lost. And Taehyung? He didn't say a word. He just held Jungkook tight. Like someone who understood exactly why those tears were falling, even without needing to ask. But what could have triggered such an emotional breakdown? To understand that, we have to go back. Back to the final group performances before the hiatus. The carefully staged smiles. The hugs that lasted just a second too long. The cryptic Instagram captions. The distance that ARMY began to sense, not just the physical one brought on by military service, but the emotional gaps growing quietly between the members. For months, rumors had circulated. That Jungkook was drifting. That Taehyung had become quieter, more distant. That the closeness they once shared, the laughter, the secret glances, the playful teasing, had somehow been replaced by tension. And yet, no one ever confirmed it. But fans are perceptive. They saw the subtle changes. The way Jungkook started writing more melancholic lyrics. The way Taehyung stared off during interviews. The way neither of them mentioned the other by name for almost 6 months. Was it just time and space? Or was there something deeper? The last time Jungkook and Taehyung were seen together in a public setting, the atmosphere felt strained. A quick handshake. A brief smile. But something was missing. That spark they once had, the Taehyung magic that made ARMY's hearts melt, seemed dimmed, like a light behind fogged glass. And that's what makes what happened 30 minutes ago so shocking. Because that reunion wasn't just emotional, it was volcanic. Raw. Heartbreaking. And perhaps, healing. Sources close to the reunion say the members had gathered in a private space in Seoul, away from media, away from cameras. Only those truly close to the group were present. It was meant to be a quiet evening. A simple gathering. Just 7 brothers reconnecting after being apart for too long. But the moment Jungkook walked into the room and locked eyes with Taehyung, it all changed. He didn't wait. He didn't speak. He just moved, almost instinctively, as if something in him snapped the moment he saw V's face again. And when he cried, it wasn't just for now. It was for the moments they lost. The words they didn't say. The misunderstandings that piled up in the silence. It was for the shared memories, the dorm nights, the ramen at 2 a.m., the stage lights, the laughter, all buried under the weight of fame, expectations, and time. Because what fans often forget is that BTS are human. Yes, they're legends. Icons. The pride of a nation. But at the heart of it all, they are just 7 boys who became men while the world watched. Who sacrificed their youth? Who bore the weight of millions? Who smiled even when they were hurting? And sometimes, that weight becomes too much to carry alone. Jungkook's breakdown wasn't weakness. It was truth. And the fact that he ran into Taehyung's arms, the very person he was rumored to be distant from, speaks volumes. It tells us that their bond, no matter how bruised by time or tension, is still intact. Still real. Still powerful. But what happened after the tears? That is where the story takes another turn. Because something else was said in that room. Something that left even the other members stunned. A confession, whispered between Jungkook's sobs. Words that Taehyung hadn't heard in years. And according to a trusted insider, what Jungkook said shook everyone. What exactly did Jungkook confess in that vulnerable moment? And how did Taehyung respond? Did the reunion bring healing, or did it open deeper wounds? The room held its breath. Every eye turned to Jungkook, but his were shut tightly, face buried against Taehyung's shoulder. His voice, though shaking, carried the weight of something he had held in for far too long. "I thought you didn't want me around anymore," Jungkook whispered, the words barely audible. "I thought I lost you." For anyone else, those might have sounded like dramatic emotions from someone overwhelmed. But to those who knew the history of Taehyung and Jungkook, their friendship, their shared years, the late-night conversations, the unspoken bond, these words cut deeper than any lyric. Taehyung froze. Not because he didn't care, but because he hadn't known Jungkook carried that wound. For months, perhaps years, both of them had built walls. Subtle ones. Walls of pride, of distance, of misunderstood intentions. While they stood on the same stages, they walked separate emotional paths. And like so many deep friendships that suffer under pressure, neither knew how to bridge the silence. But in that moment, raw, exposed, and stripped of all performance, Jungkook chose truth. And that truth shattered everything. If this moment touched your heart like it did ours, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with fellow ARMYs. What do you think Jungkook and Taehyung's reunion really means for BTS moving forward? Could this be the start of something new? Let us know in the comments. And remember, behind the fame, behind the legends, there's still just 7 souls navigating this world together.